Hi there. Welcome to the 53rd consecutive Quarantine Cup, marking a little over our 1 year anniversary since the very first weekend in which we ran the event. This week, my plan is just to spectate games and commentate, but if I find that the numbers are a little low, I may hop in and play a few games. But we'll just have to see. Probably playing it by ear if there's an odd person out in the queue. I have about a minute till the old buzzer goes off. Figure we can start here with Kilohertz and Poker. They were the first to queue. All right, so they've got a stockpile, governor, a lot of stuff actually here. Academy, pretty high-powered board. Slay Academy is obviously a big deal. A little bit unfortunate. You get to go buy Academy Slay. That's nice. I mean, Potion looks pretty awful here, especially on the opening. Should just get pretty badly outraced by Slays. Maybe not, but we'll have to see. You can basically just empty the Slays. I think, yeah, I don't love the Alchemist, but we'll see. They're playing very, very fast. So, I mean, a lot of these turns, I guess it's not too hard. You're just playing your Slays and then your stockpile. So that's not too challenging, but I don't know if they'll get to a 3-pile or if they will end up getting the provinces. Obviously, they have cards that would be quite good at emptying the provinces, but 2 piles are empty already. It may occur that you can empty, depending on the buys you get, even like the estates. if you decide to do it a little bit right before that. So this will be the last stockpile gained. I assume. Well, okay, they didn't take a stockpile, so that makes it. This is really kind of an awkward amount of money. It's not like you want a silver. Slay is like way better than. Slay is especially nice with Academy because of the reaction. So you can use the slays almost as if they're laboratories, in addition to if you have overdraw stockpiling up stuff. So they're quite nice in that respect. See, now the governors are getting so low that it would be, I would say, somewhat surprising to not see a. Well, I don't know. Like, I expect this to be another governor buy, but this gets hard now. You're just like, should I score? Because the piles are quite low. So like now they're just buying estates. Like you have to believe at some point you could have. Well, they'll get some government. I assume they'll be able to get to some provinces here, though. This is pretty close to a win, right? They may have played that a little quick. That was a win in hand that they didn't take. Which it wasn't in hand anymore, I don't think. That was a little weird. All right, let's find another game. Which I typically just follow one of the people. It's usually a pretty easy way to do it. So we'll just follow the poker plays very, very fast, so maybe not the best. But as long as Iris is playing a little slower, then it'll be still followable, I think. So we got Devil's Workshop Alone versus Devil Workshop Wishing Well. Devil's Workshop does look like a reasonable opener here. This is hard with the lack of gaining on this particular board. They're going into Fool's Gold, which is probably reasonable here. You can almost try and do Pirate Ship. It's not really good, but you could try it. You can play a couple of them a turn. I mean, at the end of the day, the only thing you're doing here is buying provinces. Second Devil's Workshop does not look especially good to me. But we'll see. This is definitely followable though. So you're just picking up another Wishing Well. I mean, at some point, Iris has to have $8 in deck, even if he's just going to play with exactly 8 and then try and draw deck, which the second Devil's Workshop would suggest that that's the angle. And I'm buying a Seer. I would just assume you just get another Fool's Gold. If you're going the Fool's Gold route, I would assume additional Fool's Golds are probably better than Wishing Wells. So that looks a little weird to me. But I'm not going to lie, the decks seem a little bit mixed in terms of the strategies, in a way that I don't super love. But it's hard to build something super coherent here, to be fair. I mean, there's obviously nice synergy. I mean, the Wishing Well is obviously a good card here. They have great synergy with Seer. And, but I don't even know, has Iris been able to buy a Seer yet? Right, the results are starting to come in. Iris has a lot of Wishing Wells. Don't know what. If there are more coppers down there, you would really rather just. I don't know what's left in the deck, but you'd probably rather trash a copper than draw it. So I'm not quite sure why they're wishing for coppers. Like, if this last card is a copper, you would rather trash it. And okay, it's a silver, so. I mean, maybe here you just go ahead and take the province. I think you can province with this deck composition. And if you miss province, you can go back and get another Seer, but province Silver Imp seems pretty good to me. Especially because you have the plot. So you have a little bit of insurance for later in the game. That looks pretty stinking good to me. Iris is first player though, so there is a one thing that is, well, that's pretty unlikely. I was gonna say it's possible for Iris to get up to 6 silvers and then have the Phenom be worth 2 and have a little bit of a better Dutchy dance, if you will, with the Devil's Workshops. But okay. That was fully drawing. Seer. Once you have $8, I mean, it would be kind of nice to find the other. Well, it's not even clear if you want to play both Devil's Workshops, but basically, I would not be wishing for copper. I would be trying to trash a copper this turn while still buying province, and possibly leaving some. Okay, so yeah, they stop there, which I think is totally reasonable. They leave a Seer in the bottom 6 here, as well as no wells, but I think maybe an imp. One Devil's Workshop, so that's not ideal. With 3 coppers still there, I maybe would have tried to draw a little bit more, but this Seer still should be fine for rescuing this turn. I would not plot there. I would have tried to see if my Seer could draw for me, but it's fine. I mean, certainly the opening hand wasn't super strong, so there was some chance of deading, and you don't really want that. They need to start thinking about gaining estates with the Devil's Workshop plays, because if they only gain provinces and they come down to the end here, that may give Poker a chance to get a win off of province estate turn. I mean, Iris can gain Fida instead of estate. They're similar with some long-term potential scoring for Iris. But he has 3 silvers, so but they have 3 silvers, so it is worth a point already. So they're not able to trash a copper this turn, but they're not so far away from the Fiat, but I would. Okay, they should take Fiat, but estate is probably going to end up being the same. Both of them are drawable by Seer, so that's not like an advantage one way or the other. This is more the hand that you want the plot for, right? This is way worse than a hand that has a Seer in it. Because even if the Seer hand duds, it was going to be able to buy like a Fiat or a Duchy or something. But the rest of it is very different. I don't understand what they're trying to do. They didn't want to trigger a shuffle, I guess, but they wouldn't have. I'm confused, but anyway, maybe the bottom card is something nice. But yeah, this is the thing, is where the plot here would have been so much more powerful. You basically have to wish for Emperor Seer. You can wish for wells, I guess, give you a chance of drawing another thing, but like gold is not even really good. Yeah, this looks reasonable, but of course it should still be a Fiat gain and not a estate gain. So Poker does also dud. They're not gonna 3-pile, I don't think. I mean, I guess one argument for doing the estates first is that the Fiatums are completely awful for Poker. So if you run out the estates and then you switch to gaining, if you think the game's gonna last that long, there's something to it. Iris should definitely not call plot on this turn. You shouldn't really even be thinking about it. Like, obviously this opening hand is strong enough to do whatever you need to do this turn. um, which is mainly just trying to draw to one. It's not clear the wish is worth not imping well. Maybe it's fine, but Seer Wish is also not a very good wish. This is a pretty bad wish. But they found Devil's Workshop, so it's okay. They don't want to buy province, so it's all good. Yeah, I mean, again, it would be cool for Iris to already have 4 Fiefdom or something, and then they could double in points quite easily. But I don't think they're even considering the fact that they already have this many silvers, 4 silvers, or whatever it is. So this may be just a dance all the way down to the bottom of some crappy VP. And then Iris is always going to have a really good threat with the plot, as long as they don't blow it up. I guess you could just buy it. You really want to get in your Devil's Workshop play if you can, though. Like, it feels bad to trigger the shuffle, but I would probably try and get in the Devil's Workshop play. I can see not doing it, though. The wish should be for like a province. I'm pretty sure at this point. Yeah, these are not good wishes. A lot of the wishes have been kind of bad. Like, it should be province. Now it doesn't. Now it could be a state actually, but well, they're probably still province. There's no reason to stop here. That was terrible to stop there. You'd played your Seers. I don't think there's a third Seer. That was not a good place to stop at all. Oh, they had just gone for province. That makes it even worse to have stopped. That's really weird. They're wishing for cards that I don't believe are in the deck. To the best of my knowledge, they don't have 3 Seers, but I could be wrong about the Seer count. Are they sort of aware of the Fiefdom? My guess is that they just totally blanked on the Fiefdom. But yeah, that was really sad to not play the Wishing Wells on the previous turn, to not draw through more of this crud. Yeah, Fiefdom's just 1. But they're not too far from 2. I think they're at 4 silvers. They gained a bunch of estates early on in the deck, and at this point, they could have gotten 2 silvers to get like 3 or 4 points if they had gotten Fiefdoms from the start. But yeah, they left a really weak bottom of the shuffle for themselves. This was a nice draw to find the well. They keep wishing for Seers, which are not the right wishes. This is a nice draw for Iris. I think adding another, well, not with just 1 Fiefdom. That's probably definitely Duchy still. I think silver or Fiefdom at this point scores 1 point. Yeah, and they didn't play the loan to toss the green, which was could have tossed a bunch of green and 2 for sure, but it 2 for sure, but it would have been a bunch. Yeah. I kind of preferred Iris's deck going into the end game, but there have been some. Well, now they're just in a kind of a pretty good spot, I guess. Well, not with this dead turn. I don't know. It's still hard for poker to make it all happen, but anyway, Iris has missed a couple things that I think would have them already in a pretty much 1 position. This is really tough for poker, though. $4 doesn't really get them anywhere closer to a win. I would not, if they're thinking about calling pot, I don't think 1 card makes any sense. Copper buy I'm a little bit meh on, but it's probably fine. Like it probably doesn't matter a whole lot, but I wouldn't have done it. So poker will get there. I mean, I would blow up the pot with 2 just because you would really like to score a little bit here. Your Fiefdom. I don't remember what all the gains were now. I've lost a bit on the. Does it get them 2? I mean, if that scores them 2, then that's fine. Yeah, if it scores 2, then that's fine. Because poker's not gonna. I mean, there's. Yeah, it's not even possible for poker to get the tie. Well, now it is if you don't. Okay, anyway. Yeah, well, now you'll just hit 8. I think there's still like silver's bottom decked. Yeah, now you just have it for sure. I think it was in hand without just because of the deck contents. Oh. All right. Let's try and find another one. I need to fix something actually, but I'll try and find a game that can be running. Dan and Harry Perry got Page, Monastery, Mountain Village, Lurker. Okay, I gotta try and fix some link that I guess I broke. Alright, what's going on here? They have bought a lot of lurkers, which I guess they can be pigged, so it's maybe reasonable. Both players are at hero. This is one of those where the ghost ships are pretty oppressive. Dan's probably just gonna gain another ghost ship here with the lurkers. And then, you know, gold and whatever. Triggers. Interesting. Yeah, definitely. What's the champion? Huh. I guess you got an attack in. I was gonna say so far I didn't know if this was doing much, but they get an attack in. You're not getting a gold. I don't know if you care about that a lot, but you might care about it some. Did get to trash. Alright, so Harry's still not there to the champion. So it looks pretty. There's a lot of stuff you can do once you get some of the draw going. So Dan's much thinner, and of course it may be quite some time before Harry's actually protected. Dan probably can. I mean, I guess there. I don't. You may want to play the replace rather than just doing a pair of lurkers. So pick a couple of these. Dan has to like. Well, there's a lot of different payload you can do. I don't feel super strongly about any of it in particular. Sort of just pick your flavor from Dan's position. Add a little more draw. Not quite overdraw, but gonna be fairly close to it. Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely lock, barring some real 3-pile blunder. Dan can even probably just empty the distant lands and play a couple of them before Harry Perry's deck really does anything. As a possible, along with some ghost ships, maybe as a possible 3-pile. Ooh. Oh, if you have mountain, I guess if you have mountain, it may help. Or mitigate, anyway. Yeah, Dan's just doing a little distant land stuff. The distant lands are kind of funny because you can also just pig them until you get to a point where you like feel like you don't need that cantrip effect, and then you can set them aside. I'm a bit surprised that distant lands buy over Ghost Ship. Actually, I'm a bit surprised at the number of distant lands that were gained into deck, but won't matter. Dan maybe just wants to try and pile out this turn. Yeah, this wins. Dan's real mean. He does the duchy. If he's real nice, he just clicks end turn. We'll find out. All right, he's nice. Okay. So, whoops. I can watch A-Libby and KHC. They have a doozy of a board. Wow. Wow. That's a lot of... Yeah, this one's a thing. I mean, you can do all of it. I mean, you won't probably have a lighthouse, but opening, I'm not sure about the Devil's Workshop opening. I'm trying to think. I'm kind of thinking you just get to the 5s faster, and then it explodes more quickly if you have those expensive cards than if you. And I mean, there's obviously 4s and 3s that you want, but it does slow how quickly you get the King's Court stuff going. Yeah, the outpost turns are going to be scary because it can either be, you doing your full thing or just nothing. And your full thing is like, gain 2 or 3 King's Courts or just in the game. When to add outpost is a little tricky. Okay, she just does it right off the bat. That's interesting. So I would take a governor. I don't like outpost on first 5 actually. For either player. Ooh. Yeah. I did it. The city gate got him. And I was trying to figure out why he drew the card, but yeah, the city gate got a Libya King's Court there, which was really nice. Didn't get him one here. You can just put the conspirator back on top, though. I guess there's some chance that it's a sad conspirator, but nope. Happy conspirator. Yeah, the city gate does look like it'll help. Yeah, these turns still are just not super impressive. I don't know. It's bottom deck tier. You don't play the. Yeah, cause he just. I don't know what the bottom 2 cards are. I don't even know what it gets you to King's Court. The Mining Village gets you like $3 or something. Oh, it's a gold. Then that's a lot nicer than 3. Ooh, nice top deck for a Libby. I kind of wish he had a Kiln deck already, but I guess estate to sheepdog here. Now they're gonna start triggering each other's sheepdogs and drawing with each other's governors. Oh, that's easy gold to King's Court. No, don't do that. No, get a King's Court. I think you definitely. I think he's just not seeing it as an option. Because the King's Court's just, to me, pretty clear. Well, obviously, it really hurts to not to change one of the sheepdogs into a card instead of drawing 2 cards with it. So that already hurts from that perspective, but just not gaining a King's Court is especially rough when that's an option. He's gonna blow it up. That seems probably right. I don't think Caleb. I think you just play another village and see if you draw a King's Court. I don't think you play the sheepdog first. I'm not sure that makes sense to me over playing the other mining village. Unless I'm missing something. That doesn't seem to be the right order to me, but it may not. It's probably not a huge difference, but I'm not sure what the upsides are of sheepdog first. Yeah. It's kind of interesting that Libby appears to just be trying to buy the provinces, which to me looks a lot worse than buying king's courts and doing big stuff. But so that's those buys look very, very strange to me. In terms of the number of king's courts that could have been gained versus the number that have been gained, that looks pretty off to me, since there have been some passed up opportunities by both players. But if Kilohertz sort of comes along for the province ride, then already Dutchy defense. I just don't see it. They're just reading the way this game ends differently than I would have. But if they both play that way, then it becomes sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy. If they don't get the cards, then yeah, the provinces, when they're this low, start to look a lot more appealing. Yeah, without the trashing, it's certainly the case that they can just have the kind of hands where you do this kind of stuff. You need to get Hey Libby just needs to get the right. Yeah, cash doesn't look like it would ever be your limiting thing. I don't know how many golds A Libby has. Okay. The rest are in the trash. Okay. So not getting another remodel on gold. Gotta make sure you get that conspirator down. Yeah, this is, you just top deck sheepdog and you can, I guess you can buy an estate. Drawing, yeah, this is a nice hand, yeah. KC can't really, yeah, the King's Court I think makes it basically one. I just don't think that KC is going to be able to get around those gains. Now it's super one. Because there's just, can literally just score as much off their governor stuff as they can, basically. Yeah. That was an interesting game. It's a bit odd. Yeah, I definitely wanted action stuff more, but I can see I can see thinking that you just do the green because it doesn't really come together, or you think that the scoring just will happen too fast. Or that you can score fast enough to make it awkward for them. I don't know. This game may be a little ways in. No, just started. Okay, we can watch Minion Pawn. Mario. They go Mirror Gear Potion, which looks fine to me. The payload here is pretty bad. Well, I mean, it's not super exciting anyway. Maybe bad's not the right word, but you know, it's Bison money and some amount of Bison money and some amount of maybe villains. A lot of draw though. But no, yeah. Villain is 2 or more. Okay, so like pools and stuff get hit. Minion Pawn bought the crypt. Exciting. Mario takes a villain. Ooh, that's a nice pool hit. Minion Pawn's gonna get a good crypt. What do you buy? Minion Pawn doesn't have a villain or a buy yet, but also doesn't really have money for it that much. Does have a silver, so gets a villain. I have to assume that the next turn will be get a snowy, but I mean, you have to have some buy, I think. Does get the snowy. I wonder if you do explore here. I wonder how quickly Minion Pawn can just go into, like, don't worry about a third buy. Just like take an explore and maybe you don't need to mess with explorer, but I don't. It looks like they're not playing gear, which seems really weird to me. It seemed like a really excellent time to play gear. You left your silver in the bottom of the deck, I think, or you didn't draw it anyway. That was very odd to me. I don't get that at all. You had actions. You had estates in hand to set aside. That was very weird. Now you're drawing the estates. Yeah, that's definitely what it was. But it was like you're gonna top deck, and like it was just perfectly great time to play a crypt or not a cryptic gear. Just, yeah, and used coffers you didn't need to use. It was, you cost yourself a lot. You made your next turn. This is one of those pools with lots of other random stuff decks, which didn't mean it was bad, but oh, I really don't like the second potion. I thought Minion Pawn was way ahead, but I think the way, oh, Mario also has one. I didn't know they both had two, or I didn't know Mario already had two. I don't know. I mean, obviously there's two good potion cards, but no, nobody did that so far as I noticed. But I also could have missed it. I know it didn't happen on Minion Pawn's crypt play, but I didn't watch Mario's. You need some way to get some other money into here. Or, I mean, something that feels like wheel spinning almost. So far. Okay, Mario does get the Explorer. So, like, now, and I can set aside one of the potions. Unless you really want Scrying Alchemist here. I don't know. I mean, it's probably not the, probably okay, but no, there it happened. Just wait, had he played Alchemist? Yeah, he had played just one, so one Alchemist got hit there with the crypt. Mario has the villagers to make the council room pretty safe, probably for as long as he needs it to be. Which I assume Mario green pretty soon. I couldn't decide either about that pool play. I mean, it's still okay to set aside just estates or Alchemist and estate or whatever. Probably fine given his deck. But I guess we'll find out. Or we'll see one. Yeah. I think that both are true. Just go to 10 and do province pool. Or do you just take another council room? Is a bit weird to me. I would have been more interested in another crypt, I think, than in another council room. I mean, if you can start buying provinces, as long as you keep up with it, they're not going to get into a position where they're like super good at catching up. I don't think. Maybe I'm wrong. I'd have to do a lot of counting before I knew what this crypt set aside should be. I don't think I'm going to do it. Because you got to account for the gold gains over a course of at least one turn and probably a couple and figure all that out. Wonder if someone will get up to triple amounts of money. Mario could if he doesn't spend coffers pretty easily. That's a nice threat to have on this kind of board, because Minion Pawn both doesn't have the buys and probably won't have the coffers to do it. I wonder if Minion Pawn knows about the alchemist thing, because he also did the potion stuff again here. Or has potions, had one set aside that last turn. Or set one aside at the end. What I mean to say. Mario spends 3 coffers to buy another alchemist, and I think that maybe they get into triple anyway, but that feels like a mistake to me. To use 3 coffers for one alchemist there. But maybe there'll be enough time here. There's probably at least 2 villain plays before, so maybe he will have a decent triple threat regardless. I don't understand what Minion Pawn's doing with the not. I don't know how much was in the discard, but it couldn't have been that much. Like the villain is in there. Oh, he had to play the Snowy so early. Oh. I'm dumb. Yeah, so that not top decking Alchemist last turn, which he could have done, except for the Crypt set aside, did make this Snowy hurt pretty badly. So now it's just rough because the Because now it's like he doesn't have coffers. He's behind on coffers. He's going to be probably a little behind on money, but Mario's using up the villagers kind of quickly, so it's a bit of an issue. Yeah, I again don't feel real great about the coffers for a alchemist trade. That doesn't inspire me. But I would have been much, like I've said, I would be much more interested in being able to triple province than in anything else. Now, maybe he still has triple. But if he doesn't, then the alchemist buys just look really bad. To me. Should play a council room first. Doesn't find the snowy, so he's just out of luck, basically, for this turn anyway. Yeah, if he finds the snowy, then I guess he still is probably short of triple, but now here minion pawn is going to be pretty sensitive to. Oh, he has counter. Minion pawn is also going to be a little bit sensitive to when they draw the snowy villager, if they draw it. Don't set a potion aside, Mario. Whatever you do. Whatever you do, don't set aside a potion. Oh no. No, they can. Shamrock. They have Explorer. They can add money to their deck. Oh, like they. Oh, I see. Yeah. No, they're gonna double actually with this draw for sure. It's guaranteed at this point. Oh, they're not listening. I don't know why I'm talking to them like they are. Not that they need to. Alright, so Minion Pawn did take it in the end, which I felt like they were really ahead at the beginning, middle, and then I felt like they misplayed at least that gear play really badly. They fell behind, but, or not, maybe not behind, but back to evenish. See how far. I don't know what Minion Pawn's problem is with the form. Well, A-Libby and Lemon Spawn are quite a ways in, so we may not be able to make heads or tails of this one, but nonetheless, we'll try. And then we'll just follow one of them along. Because, I don't think we've watched. Well, we watched A-Libby play that King's Court game. So far, people are going pretty evenish, actually. We don't have anyone who has a really big undefeated run. It's very, very, very close, at least at this point. We're about halfway through. I forgot how long it is to sit for the longer free plays. Normally there would just be 45 minutes left, but I made it half an hour longer today. Hopefully people stay interested. Maybe we'll go play somebody soon. We may have a bit of a numbers issue. Or I may just open up rematches. Alright, I'll just go play. Alright, we'll play again. Try and wake myself up. This board is oh man. Yeah. I guess I'm gonna borrow for a Margrave. This is kind of rough. I don't know if we buy. Well, maybe you go ahead and buy the Guardian. I guess they're probably blocking anyway, so like that makes it less appealing. But whatever. I don't know how to play this one. I mean, you want the drawn villages and stuff. Maybe I'll put it down. This could backfire. Yeah, it did backfire a little bit. Now I do know that those are down there. I'm trying to think if I want to dismantle or duplicate. Or either, really. I'm not sure it was worth it to put the necropolis back whenever, but don't love the second Margrave, especially. I guess I would have, yeah, I would prefer Wild Hunt to second Margrave. Hopefully we draw. I don't like Copper plus Wayfarer really at all. Not super huge fan of that Guardian either, but we're probably just kind of having a state pile out, in all honesty, the way this stuff's going right now. Okay. That wasn't such a good draw. And by that I mean that was a pretty rotten draw. Can't remember what else I've got down here. This could be wrong. It would be nice to get, well, it would be nice to dismantle just to not have the coppers, but I don't know how realistic that is. I don't really know who's ahead at this point. We both have similar decks. They're not especially exciting. They do have a lot of silvers. They have more silvers than me. So if we go into, I mean, if I ever get to a deck drawing state, I should have a better chance than them. If we don't go to a deck drawing state, then it'll be a little different, but let's get another silver. Actually, I meant to not gain that one. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Let's see. Okay, we should be pretty good spot now. We can do Wayfarer. You don't really need the province, but we should be able to win here. I think. I don't know if we'll have quite enough buys, but we should be pretty close. We're at 8 buys. We need 10 gains. And $20. Guess we're not quite there yet. This is, yeah. Yeah, we're not quite there. Oh, wait. Yeah, we are. Sorry. I missed the Guardians. I was super confused. I totally... All right. Um. I mean, there's also just like shuffle stuff, basically. I mean, like I hit it Herald hits. Um, like I had a Herald hit in the middle of a turn that really made it a lot better, and so I think part of it's just whatever you get lucky draws. All right, so right now, Matt Guard's spin is up with 17 points. Dwarf Rat's 12. So we have um I don't know why. I'll do it. All right, let's try and find a game to watch. Alright, sorry, video people. This has been me typing in chat. Alright, we'll just watch this Fool's Gold game. I mean, yeah, it's reasonable to do here. You can dominate sometimes. I guess actually it's really hard to. You get $13, but 14 is pretty tough without draw. I mean, you can buy provinces, but. Alright, we'll go watch a new game, fresh game. Alright, let's watch. Oh, they've got quite a board here too. Yeah, they've got the land cavalry. King's Court, they actually don't have. The payload is not very good here. Animal fare is okay, but. So we've got to raise. Okay. Mankar spin buys a Skulk, which I'm not too big a fan of. The scouting party raise thing, I guess, is reasonable. Kind of a weird opening, but probably reasonable. Yeah, I'm not hugely in love with the Skulks. Alright, sorry, I'm typing in. Alright, I'm paying attention now. People are in the chat. Okay. Yeah, I think it's something like that, JC Thrust, though the piles may just sort of already have disappeared. In other ways. But yeah, you would really like to have... I mean, the only payload is basically animal fare. But it is all a bit awkward for a while. I think there's a lot of raises in Minion Pawn's deck. In fact, there's so many raises gone that it's like easy to see the piles just being changeling cavalry and raise kind of oddly. Alright, this would be a King Court for sure. I would have thought about keeping race with the estate there on top as Matt Guardspan. They discarded them though, but I would have definitely considered just keeping raise with the estate. And probably the horse, but maybe the cavalry. I'm pretty surprised they took changelings at all. I kind of think you wouldn't take them until you have King's Court already, but... So there'll be another King's Court for Matt. Can also do the scouting party King's Court again. Hero King Fisherman, or maybe King Cavalry. This is a really good turn for Minion Pawn though. I don't like trashing the cavalry at all. That seemed pretty bad to me, but maybe it's okay. Maybe it's alright. I would trash Copper for sure over getting another animal fare if that's the plan. Okay. The order of that kind of made it look like they might do it differently, but there doesn't seem to be a lot of benefit from buying a cavalry and a King's Court here. Scouting party, probably okay. I don't think you get another animal fare there. Animal fare right now is pretty bad. But it'll obviously it'll be good later, but without the buy getting more than 7. I mean, you know, you can get extra cavalry, so it doesn't do nothing, but or extra villas. It's very weird board. I mean, obviously a lot of powerful stuff, but and I was forgetting, you can always just buy the cavalries and draw the changelings. That's very, very good. This looks pretty nice. If Matt Guardspan draws, they may have a pile out on their turn. One little trick that you can't do here, it just doesn't work. is that the cavalry and villa clauses are if it's your buy phase. So you can't like empty the king's courts with changelings and then go back and draw them that same turn. Because once you go to the night phase, it doesn't, you can't escape. So there is a little bit of a, not that you necessarily think you can do that, but that gain in play is impossible. Yeah. I don't know, I think it can end up here. It seems very possible, but I don't know. I'm not sure they're getting to have enough money. You can probably empty at least the king's court. You can probably get pretty close. I'm not sure. Maybe you're a little lacking on draw. If you draw the whole deck, there's some changeling. Like you can do a little bit of gain in play on the changelings themselves in the night phase, because you can trash a changeling to gain a cavalry that you have in play and then exchange it, and draw that changeling. So if you've drawn deck, there's a little bit of stuff you can do, but you do need to have some way to get. I'm surprised the quick click on the quick click on playing the horse and not kinging the horse is a little bit scary to me. But maybe they're gonna get there. They're taking horses, which is not how you would end it, probably. You don't have money. You can, no, they're first player, so yeah, they didn't. Now they just make the finish for Makar Spin really easy if he draws anything at all. Like now it's just trivial because you didn't score any and you lowered everything so much. I think there was a pile out and not a win. But there might have been a win. I mean, at the end here, there was like clearly a pile out, but it was a losing pile out. I don't know if there was earlier. No, because you can't score. You can't buy anything. You had to buy an estate before you did anything else. So Matt's just taking money because he can. Oh, that was wrong. He needs to play Plaza. Oh yeah, there's Villa. Good point. I totally forgot about Villa because they basically hadn't touched it. It's still a little weird order. Like you might as well play the Plaza first, I think. But yeah, you're right. Because you don't really want to spend $4 on a villa if you can avoid it. This is a win. This is a win in hand. But yeah, for sure, Minion Pawn lowered stuff so far that it was basically guaranteed, all but guaranteed. All right. We may be able to get Titan Drake and A Libby just started. Oh, yeah, that's 4 minutes ago. Whatever. We'll just live with it. Silver Jack, Jack Silver, Silver. One of those governor, Haven governor. All right, so mostly money. Yeah, I guess you just start green when you can here. There's not like huge incentive to build. This is a bit weird turn. I don't know what the shuffle looks like here for A Libby. I assume he'll trigger it, but that feels weird to me. But I don't know the deck contents really that well. Or at all. I think, well, here Titan Drake will for sure just buy a province again. Yeah, this is pretty rough for A Libby. This is a rough one to be behind on points on because it's not easy to actually do super mult. Like 2 provinces is probably doable, but 3 is not very easy at all. So it becomes kind of rough to fall behind on the provinces. It's interesting that Titan Drake's just going for the Jack draw to try and hit 8, I assume. Or he's even gonna take a duchy? Or is that IGG? Takes a duchy. Okay. Still has a reasonable shot probably of hitting 8. That all felt maybe not like the thing to do, but I would have been maybe more interested in 2 golds than in the silver to duchy part, but you know, wasn't unreasonable. Just maybe not what I would have picked. It's like now A Libby doesn't even want to play the Haven probably, which is pretty rough. Maybe they're gonna play the Haven. It's so many governors missing though. I don't know how big the shuffle is. It's gotta be pretty big. The decks just are large. Fairly large. This is rough because this is already, well, you play the Haven first as Titan Drake and see if you get another dollar, because then if you double, you probably feel okay about it. I think you'd be willing to go ahead and double if your Haven finds money. Otherwise, Duchy Province is also totally fine. You can even Haven something useful possibly. I think I would be willing to, here you can even Haven a copper. I would be willing to go for the double at this point. Because A Libby can't tie you, he's first player. So A Libby has to province estate. And I think that's probably pretty hard. There's some risk though, so you don't have to go for it. You can just take province and duchy. I think it makes more sense there to remodel the silver into the duchy and then buy the province, but whatever. Alibi probably just takes a province estate at this point and I draws on. I don't think Alibi has a reasonable shot at getting 3. It's, again, not impossible, but it would take some deck stacking. So they may feel that they just have to go for it at this point. Like, countering with province and duchy here is okay-ish, but a little bit scary. Right, but he only has to do 2 as remodels, and he can buy 1 province. And he was clean on a shuffle, right? So there's still 5 and 5. Yeah, you need to get very lucky for sure. Well, he only played 2 governors, so there was still another. There's still 3 more in deck. Well, no. I think Tyndrick can just take province duchy. Should be fine. Because again, Alibi would need to double province and get an estate to beat that. Goes for double duchy, that's interesting. That's probably alright too. Now it's just incredibly rough for Alibi because Tyndrick probably can duchy and province. I don't know if they're what the odds are of having a gold, but well, not duchying and provincing. But 37 is like pretty much just guaranteed win. He just goes for the win. He gets it. I mean, what is effectively a win? It's not a game end, but it's half VP. Alibi bottom decked a lot of governors in this shuffle, which made it basically impossible. He's taking the moral victory province. Tyndrick's taking the moral victory copper trash. Everybody is full of moral victory. Let's see. Here, I'll just join Sporting Elijah and play them. What do we got? What do we got? Well, stockpile. Den. They have a 5-2, which isn't necessarily that super good here. Guess I would have at least thought about Doctor Overpay, but this was not a good, well, if I find the Masquerade, it's fine, but not ideal. I don't know. I'd probably just take another stockpile here, even though I don't know. I would have liked to get a den, though I guess that was, not really possible. I'm trying to think here if I get a silver or if I get a poacher. I don't feel like I can really make the peddler stuff work. I guess I could have doctored. That was the other option, right? I had 7. I could trash 4 cards. Probably a bunch of estate. I guess the doctor's kind of sad, though. 11 would have been a little better than 9, but I have 4 stockpiles, right? Let me count. 1, 2, 3. I did have 3 stockpiles. That was not that good. We gotta buy some golds and probably another silver. If we don't find Masquerade, it's very sad. If we do find Masquerade, it's not the worst shuffle ever. Okay, this is very sad. I'm not like super in love with the Fisherman. This didn't really pan out that well either. It would have been nice to draw another stockpile mainly. That's the main takeaway. For me. There's a lot of Masquerades. I don't really know that you want that many. I'll try and buy the dens up pretty heavily. I could take a couple golds here at once. It's probably not unreasonable. Gold, copper. I mean, it wasn't. The other option was to buy Curse Ray and like hope that. I think I'm much more likely to end up with the Curse later on than Sporting Elijah is. Now we're just gonna green. We'll try and get another silver. Probably try and get another den if possible. But other than that, I don't know what I have only one of that I have. Well, I guess I only have one Masquerade too. Oh, they have 2 upgrades. I know that. The silver I can fix. I mainly have 1 estate as well. That's probably what it is. Yeah, that's 9 and then the +1 from the estate. So hopefully we get rid of the estate at some point, but I probably should have just trashed the estate. Because he can use it, right? He can get stuff. $16. I could double. I'm not gonna double. I do have to remember to buy the... I do have to remember to buy the silver at some... Well, I don't have to buy it, but it's a thing to consider with the next time I draw a stockpile if I get to 11. That or the... I guess they're just trashing the estate. Or they're saving it for a surprise. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. They definitely have like an actual deck compared to my deck, which is not an actual deck. Okay. I have 1 stockpile left. That's the last one to go into exile. Okay. I also don't really know where the copper sitch is. I'm just kind of assuming I have plenty of copper. It looks like I do. 6 copper seems like I'm not in any danger of that being an issue. feels like just getting money for no reason. Like, I don't know what it was fine to gain the poachers. I don't know what playing them did for anybody, but I guess they can masquerade me a poacher or something like that. Oh, they're gonna get a den out of it. That's reasonable. They still are. They're holding an estate. It's like a secret estate, you know. Attack. I mean, I'm gonna lose for sure, but I don't have an out here to not buying the. It's like if I buy Duchy, it doesn't score me anything. Obviously, 6 dens is like way more than enough for them to get. Not 6 dens, but six cards is obviously guaranteed. They only have 7 cards in deck. Province or Duchy doesn't do anything for me. The first Duchy doesn't do anything at all for me. And then they can still just province. I can't province after that. It doesn't, score me anything. I mean, I can see if they fail to. They're not going to fail on this next turn. I mean, I can see if they fail on the following turn. But, like, obviously, they're not going to fail to hit province now. And they're not very likely to fail to hit province the next turn either. Oh, they don't have any masquerades, I see. Do they have any coppers? That's interesting. I maybe shouldn't have bought the Duchy. I maybe should have bought. Because if they don't have any coppers, I can attack them and win by a point, I think. They do have the estate, but. Now I'm just confused. They do have an estate, right? So 3 provinces and then the -2 from estate. But if they don't have it in hand when I play the masquerade, it's like. That's very weird. I don't know if they have coppers or not. This is just not going to draw 8, unfortunately. Like now they could pass the estate potentially. I'll just trash it. I mean, the problem is that they're going to hit province. And then also apparently they did have a gold. Or whatever. If I had hit 8, we would have had something, but they're just going to hit province again. Most likely. All right. All right, let's watch We can watch Shanahan and kill Hurts. Oh, they're pretty far already, even though they just started like 4 minutes ago. Well. Looks like right now there's a bit of a race for the top 2 spots. Man, why does it always do this to me? They've got, I guess, an imminent 3 pile probably. That's the opponent's undue letting you wish, right? All right, I'll go play. Since I'm being explicitly, I don't even have this person. All right. Got peasant. Probably open peasant raise. I mean, you could open peasant overlord. Though. That's not the most exciting thing of all time. Yeah, it's either raise or bounty hunter. There's definitely some upsides to both. This is a weird board because aren't really cantrips. Besides mill. So the mills are kind of really good, at least for the teacher aspect. I'm not sure. It's quite a strange board. I guess you could try and put you can try and just put plus action on the merchant guilds and just buy provinces, I guess. Otherwise, I don't know. I don't know what you do. It's a weird board. You can put like plus action on Vassal. I mean, they're different stuff. They're probably in okay shape just because they're a little thinner than I am. They're getting teacher. So, how big of a shuffle is this? The problem, of course, is that they are head on teacher. I think we go through it. Just see how far we can get through this stuff. We could. We at least trigger here. Probably didn't matter. They get teacher down, which kind of sucks. For me. Hopefully they don't have a bunch of mills. They probably do, though. I think he should just green. Well, that's fine too. A million vassals is fine. I didn't find any mills. That's rough. That's awful. I felt like I had a shot there, but not without the... Not this way. I don't feel like I have a shot. If I had found the mills, because this isn't going to work. I mean, even if there's a mill top deck, because I have to play the Snowy Village first. Because, like, he could double or do whatever. He knew whatever. But this is awful. I mean, I still kind of have to just do the same thing. I still have to just call and put plus card on mill. But it's not gonna work. I know you put plus coin on vassal. Buy seems really weird. Don't you want to just try and quad province? That turn looked very odd to me, but what do I know? Well, that was not a good turn for them. That makes my copper buys look a lot stupider. I don't think I can triple. Just drawing a bunch of coppers. What does this put me at? I mean, they didn't get the vassal by vassal is so weird. Like, such a weird pick. What do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 13, 15. Plus a little more, maybe. Yeah. This is not gonna pan out. These are like coppers or something. Makes my copper buys look pretty bad. If I go double and estate, then I get 32, which loses to province, duchy, estate. But they're gonna triple anyway. Probably. Right, they're probably tripling. Well, this other, it might make a difference. Could have been a raise instead of a copper. Well, that would have been. Like, these vassals, you don't need the buys, you need more money. You needed to get to $24. The vassals should have $1 on them. I mean, that would have gotten you there, but it just looks so much better than buy to me. But don't know. Now double province will at least look a little bit more appealing for me. They can triple duchy or something, but I mean, they can. Well, that uses a lot of their coffers because they're not getting so many back here. My hand is at least good, pretty good. Whether it'll be really good, it's super random here. I have to think about what I want to put, what token I want to put. It'll depend partly on what they do, so I don't want to think about it too hard before they've made their buys. But certainly, like, plus coin on Snowy Village seems possible. Do I need to win now? Is that my only out? They would need province double duchy. Well, that should be pretty easy for them. Did they play their Snowy? They did play their Snowy this time, so they have action issues, right? Yeah, they have action issues. If the vassals don't hit, yeah. So it's not that free for them to even do the other thing, depending. If I give, I mean, I can triple duchy also. If I put plus buy on the Snowy, I can triple duchy. As a possibility. Probably the buy is more valuable than the coin. It's not super clear yet, but this now is kind of what's going to happen. I'm going to get the buy. I'm going to have $23 in whatever buys. Well, now it's sad that I drew a bounty hunter. It could have been copper. That would have been $2 more. Okay. I can either. Is this it? 3, 10. It's 21, which is pretty good too, right? I mean, I don't know what he thinks. It wasn't. I guess it was basically GG. Okay. All right, let's look at the ongoing games. See who's. Well, we don't have as much. To look at because it's just the top 2. So it's just like Kilohertz, Lemon Spawn, Matt Guardspin, Sporting Elijah as realistic. I guess even if they were the top 4, that would be the Those would be the people. So Sporting Elijah is playing Haka. I'm just trying to, get the lay of the land. I guess Killhertz is listening, so he's probably not playing. They're already a lock anyway, unless there are a bunch of unreported results. So it's more a question of Lemon and that would be pretty exciting, Apo. I think technically this point they can't really queue up. Oh, Lemon is playing Matt. Exciting. All right, then the Sporting match doesn't matter because one of them's gonna score enough. So let's go watch that one. Lemon's playing Matt, not Lemon play Matt. Okay, so they've got city quarter stuff, and they don't have very many city quarters though, which is kind of interesting. They've been doing the double tack. I wonder if you even go through the effort of doing double. I mean, it looks good. I mean, the tactician looks good. I just wonder if it's like whether you do that before you try and do city quarter stuff. I don't know. I guess it makes sense. It's probably a better order. So where the curses right now? Are they in the decks? They're in the decks. Is anybody close to piling? Not quite. Does Lemon have a tactician down? Okay. I guess each player just has one city quarter. Is Matt just gonna double province and buy a hamlet? You could probably even buy a city quarter, right? Wait, they didn't play tactician. So now that gives Lemon a lot more turns. Most likely, right? Mackard didn't play their tactician. So that's going to be like that's going to be like really, really rough. This is kind of a funny board where you play double tack with a gold just because you want to do legionary. I don't know if it's worth it. That's kind of paying a card. I guess you still have the flexibility to do it on your end. Don't they need like $26 to win? No, the discarding tack is like looked like you just can't win off that because it just gives Lemon so many turns. Like you literally just don't have to be afraid of your opponent's 3-card hand where one of them was random. You just don't. Lemon should even just not province here, of course. They're having some issues here. Lemon should just, I don't know, you could triple duchy or you could even buy a city quarter. Again, I think is not crazy, or like conspirator or something. Okay, well, this is, I guess, nice with your foragers, but still not actually that much stuff yet. Now it is double is in hand. Yes, you will be playing lemon. Was double in hand or was Apo wrong? I didn't actually count it out myself, but it looked a little short. Okay. Well, the normal format KC is just, well, normally when we do playoffs, we just do one game, but I was just offering that if both of you wanted to, you could change it to like best of 3 or something. We'd have to figure out what ties, probably just ignore the ties. And usually higher seed has first player advantage, so you would get to go first player first and then alternate. Well, we'll ask Lemon Spawn what he wants to do. Normally we do the 4-person playoffs, but we were just trying something different this week, so I didn't solidify everything. But we'll say the default is just one game so that it's not a 4-hour event. But if both of you want to play best of 3, then I'm down. Yeah, get in your last legionary attack. Yeah, I agree, Cave. All right, so that's gonna put our finalists at KC and Lemon Spawn 30 and 29 respectively. Killhertz also was our big game player this week with 14. Got in the reps. All right, let me ask Lemon. All right, looks like we're doing best of 3. Of a big championship. Should be good. Let's see who wins our anniversary quarantine cup. All right, we got Peasant. No one has the 2-5, which would probably be very good. pretty strong out of the gate. See if anyone's really feeling themselves and goes for the banquet. I would not go for the banquet. As far as opening, I'm probably do peasant. Well, 4-3 would be nice, but nobody had that either, so that's not an issue. I don't know. I guess you do the 3-4 like they're doing. You take a 3 and then you top deck, but Paul question mark. It's good. I don't know. So they go with Wishing Well versus Forager. I have to assume they're gonna both top deck a peasant here on their 4s. Yeah, it is, but they both had it, so at least nobody has to feel. Oh, Cave's not in chat. Never mind. Forget you, Cave. Just kidding. Alright, gonna go ahead and go for the second peasant. KHC does. Kinda have to assume he picks up a forager on this 3 though. Lemonhead gets 5. Yeah. Probably KHC falls on a sanctuary, yeah. Unfortunate collision here for Lemon Spawn. 4 is not a very good one. I guess you just buy the well, whatever. And probably a well for Kilohertz as well. Smugglers doesn't seem that... Well, certainly not at this point, while you're still playing peasants or soldiers. Doesn't seem worth colliding anything over. Well... Sure, I mean, you can... I'm not playing. The, okay, Lemon does get a smuggler. Says, okay, I don't really love it. I'm not gonna lie. It all looks quite good for kilohertz right now, to be honest. I'm totally fine with triggering it. I think there's not too bad of stuff here at the bottom. One well. I was fine with it. I'd have to go back and look exactly, but I don't think it's a Duke game. I mean, you can put them aside with Sanctuary, but I don't think it's a Duke game. Maybe. Would be funny. Be interesting. This is obviously wrong order, but I'm very unlikely to matter. But clearly wrong order as far as Forager and Wishing Well there. Yeah, Smugglers would look nice then. This is super big. This looks mostly like a lock for KHC with pretty clean play. just needs to figure out how they want to do payload stuff, but way ahead on draw things. I mean, you could. I don't think it's probably the best thing, but you'd probably still win with it. Oh yeah, I forgot to report my other result. I would guess so as well. I think you're not, I don't know, you're not even really ready to use the golds. You can be a little more, you have just more control over doing the Jester Soldier stuff, and then, of course, the attack still probably hits some. But, well, the upside is, you know, Lemon Spawn now is forced to gain a treasure map if they play their smugglers, right? Or I guess they have a choice. Or does smuggler, can you choose to gain nothing? I don't know how that works. They must have had some choice, but oh, you can try and fail on wells. Okay. I can never remember which of the things allow. This is to be a wishing well wish, yeah. Probably still going to draw deck even after that kind of terrible. Nope, didn't. Well, not that it's totally done, but drawing a lot of deck for having pretty bad opening hand. Look at the power of treasure map. Lemon Spawn really wanted a treasure map. That's he wanted to know where the treasure was. I'm not sure it matters, Cyrus, but I didn't count. Probably didn't matter if you were buying smugglers. But anyway, now we're gonna get plus car and well. Just gonna go crazy. You get to disciple sanctuaries and stuff, so you know that's pretty fun for adding buys. It would be really nice if Kilohertz had a peasant actually. Just please don't do that. This was wrong order unless you really wanted a second smugglers, which seems not right. They shouldn't have discipled the disciple. Because now you're not getting That was before. Yeah, so they're missing out on a sanctuary gain here, as well as a draw, which is worse. Well, they're only going to leave 1 gold on top. I guess you needed to... No, you used to get plus... Yeah, they Oh, the well also is plus card. Yeah, they're not leaving any on top. This, yeah, Kilohertz would have to completely blow it from that point. Anyway, it looked good. I think the treasure map was fine. It wasn't like... I do think maybe the Jester stuff was nicer, but it was okay. We didn't get to see it, so maybe the T-map spin up faster and just let you start buying green and set it aside, and who cares? Raid is very bad in general. It's not even really situational. It's just like bad. Well, it's not that bad. It's sort of that bad in terms of events, but it's not actually transmute level bad. Anything with Raider, anything with the word raid in is it. Yeah, raid is better than Raider, but it's still really bad. When raid was being play tested, I used to just go on Isotropic and just play Storyteller raid decks over and over again. Not to learn anything, just for my personal enjoyment. Just raid Storyteller. I would just do it over and over and over again. Just solitaire. I mean, it's not like a good deck, but it works in the sense that it lets you gain all the silvers and still draw a deck. But it's, you know, if you have 40 silvers in your deck, you can't really be consistent. Well, raid and raider both exist. Oh, raiders on the board. I see. They probably meant raider then. I don't even see raider on the board. That's not a card that enters it. Actually, this kingdom is full of cards that I don't see. Raider, Duchess is invisible. Brigand's basically invisible. Swamp Hag is basically invisible, though I'm not sure it probably should be. This board, it can be invisible, more or less. Anyway, what are they doing? Sorry, I was talking. And Sentry, Smuggler, Sentry. Okay, seems fine. Smuggler definitely looks good here. It's a common problem I have though, Cyrus. I sort of wonder at the hostelries over the bandit camps, because I kind of feel like you just want to Couple bandit camps as your villages. And the horses don't seem to be doing a whole lot for you. This is a lot of swamp hags gonna be gained. You can't really play them all, but you can have them. You can play one of them. Which I guess is really all you want to be playing. Now, if you're adding all these swamp hags, I can see preferring hostelries over bandit camps as your buy, for sure. That makes more sense to me if you're doing buys another swamp hag. That feels too many terminals to me. I mean, it's okay. It's not super easy to trash the cop or the curses with your sentry. You can get around it, but not when you're buying green. Get all the horses. Does Lemon Spawn have money? Can anyone afford a province? I think buying provinces is pretty good here. Not gonna lie. So many swamp hags. Do they both have 2 sentries? I just try not to look at the swamp hag art. For the most part. It's so bizarre to me that swamp hag is one of the backgrounds and that people pick it. But mostly even that it was like one of them. What does Dombot say swamp hag is? Yeah, for sure the journeyman style cards are the worst of all the cards in Dominion. And journeyman might be the worst of them. Lemon Spawn buys a province. This looks good. Yeah, type a /BG and then a number. Like this. And then the number you type in is 10. That's actually all you need to know. There's also settings from the not solid black. It's the little gray black. I don't know what that pattern's called, but I'm gonna trust Heth. The you can get all black with you. I think you do 0 if you do like 11 or 12 or 13 or big numbers. You can also change your background from the settings on the main menu, but that's not useful because you can't see them. Levin Spawn getting, yeah, someday. The only ones that I don't really mind are like the sort of pastoral whatever looking things of the actual art. Those are okay for me, but I still don't do them. Just J-Nails, get out of here. You picked like 2 of the worst ones for your A tier. And rebuild is awful. I used to, oh man, I blame Philip for these. He was a rebuild user. Maybe they'll just empty Swamp Hag's hostelries and curses. This is a rough hand too for KHC. There's also no like, there's like no comeback mechanic here. There's nothing compensating you for being behind by 2 provinces. You're literally just losing. We've had 2 not terribly competitive games. Yeah, like what is... I'm confused. Oh, they had Courtyard delayed. I get it now. Makes sense. Four Swamp Hags. The problem is like, oh, okay, well, Lemon Spawn can still buy a province, score 2 points, empty the curses, then he just buys a Swamp Hag later, you know? It's like... It's like one turn you can buy province, get 4 curses, next turn you can buy Swamp Hag, get 1 curse, and they literally can't catch you in that time. Well, they won't curse pile out in 1 turn, but they can curse pile out in 2 turns or 3 or whatever. I mean, and there's literally no stopping it, so... Did they gain a curse? They didn't gain a curse, they advanced, so... Like Lemon here, buying Swamp Hag here is guaranteed win. The next turn, they cannot score that much. Yeah, that's true. $15. $15. I don't know. I didn't watch the start. I was talking about background art and cards that are invisible and all that. They couldn't smuggle curse. Well, I mean, KHZ didn't gain a curse, so they couldn't smuggle it. I mean, you're allowed to smuggle a curse, but they didn't gain one. KHZ did advance, yeah. Now you can end it. Now the game can be ended if you smuggle curse. Aww. Maybe they saw it, maybe the undo is because they saw it, and maybe they saw it. Play smuggler gains curse? No. Well, I don't think it's going to change the outcome, but gained a journeyman. That's exciting. What are you gonna do, Lemon? Play your bandit camp. We yeah. Warfrat is right about that. Okay. All right, we're going on to the final game. It all comes down to this. I need to be right back. Ooh, contraband populate, finally. Did someone get it already? Oh, wow. That is ambitious. I mean, you can split it. I mean, there are enough probably okay things. Somebody already has a Grand Market? What a draw. Opens. Wow. I'm not even sure Grand Market is that good, but they did. Did they? Did Lemon have any of the stuff that was possible to do that? No, definitely not. This is so funny. It's not that good of a populate. It's not that good of a populate at all. It's like playable, but you probably could do it once and not feel too bad about it. Taxman isn't horrible. You can gain more contrabands with it. Yeah, it's just unless you already have hunting lodges, you're just kind of yeah, I would probably do it once, but then I would have to restrain myself and go back to buying hunting lodges. But but it's probably better to just have a bunch of hunting parties. There it goes. It's like, it's just super unclear that I would pass on the 4. I would pass. No, I wouldn't take silver. The contraband's so funny. Now Lemon gets to populate. Just don't populate again. Like, probably. You probably don't need to do it again. These are our populate hands. It's also really bad for your hunting parties. Yeah, you should not populate here at all. It's so bad for the hunting parties. You should just play a hunting party deck with whatever, maybe a couple terminals. Obviously, the populate's more fun, but it's gotta be worse than like a controlled HP stack. And Barge or Haunted Woods Hunting Lodge draw. I feel like you can. I think with hunting parties you can beat the IGG. I don't think I would be trying to do the IGGs. Play your Hunting Lodge. There you go. Don't know if you play the Barge yet, but definitely play the Hunting Lodge. This is so funny. Just each deck has 2 Taxman and 2 Fortune Tellers. Now you're getting even. Oh my word. Just what you want to see in your opening hand. 2 Fortune Tellers, 1 Baron. No trashing. There's no trashing. You're just. Oh gosh. We had this discussion in Wiki channel. Pretty sure. About trashing? I'm like, not about populate. Oh, I can't wait for the populate blurb. Do they have $30? I guess so. They're playing bingo. We resurrected bingo for this championship. Eight, 10, 4, 10. You can change this or The taxman can be $1, right? So 11, 15. It wasn't 6, it was just a little bit short. I think it was only 2 short, actually. How does... Oh, just by... You can just empty hunting lodges and barrens. But then you don't get to populate. I thought, that was required. So they left the win. They could have swapped the... I mean, it was guaranteed, not the way Lemon played it, but it was guaranteed potentially. All right, well, those were some interesting games. I'm pretty convinced populated is terrible there. I maybe one. Maybe you can do one. But anyway, thanks everybody for playing, and congratulations to Lemon Spawn on taking home yet another victory in the Quarantine Cup. Congrats to Killhertz on 2nd place, winning the regular free play session and getting in the most games today. Thanks everyone who came out all year around. We're going to keep doing them. Hope you can keep making it. And we will see y'all later.